had a very engaging panel. Hopefully it informed our identity in ways, or at least helped us think about our identities, where we come from, who we are, which was basically the underlying theme of the entire Mela, and especially this last panel discussion. With that, I'd like to call upon our chairperson here, chief guest, Syed Babar Ali Saab, but before that, let me just introduce him. Please.
Thank you very much. I apologize for not being here earlier. I was out of Lahore this morning. I just came back from Kasur about an hour ago. But I want to thank the organizers for bringing such a galaxy of brain matter onto the campus to share their wisdom with our students here, because this is one of the great advantages of having a center of learning, is that they can, without any shame or hesitation, invite people like Mr. Kazim Raza, like Kamil Khan Mumtaz and others to come over and guide them, share their thoughts with them, because that is how universities develop, that is how they build up knowledge, and that is how they energize and get the next generation going. I don't have to make a long speech to tell you how important Lahore is. We all are here because we love Lahore. Not that we were born here, because it's a city that we cherish. It's painful to see how Lahore is being hurt and injured by, and I can see Kamil Khan fully endorsing my thought. I go around the old city once a week, and it's really, it's not a pleasant ride to go through places which one took for granted, and these are being demolished, and ugly structures are being put in, supposedly for the convenience of the coming generation. They can move from A to B without any hindrance. But Lahore, I think, has the tenacity and has the stamina and has the strength to withstand any abuse that is inflicted on its body. But it's the youth, the young generation that we have here at the university, that they have to be the guardians of the future of Lahore. Lahore is not just monuments. Lahore is a very living soul. It's one of the few cities that have been lived in for over 2,000 years continuously, and it is our duty that we add to something that Lahore is famous for, and that it's not just buildings, but it's minds that Lahore is. This city has been very lucky to have had great people here who came from all over the world to share their thought and wisdom and to make the people here more sensitive to what Lahore should be and what living should be. So thank you very much. It's a wonderful initiative. On behalf of the organizers, I want to thank them, and I want to thank the panelists and the people who have taken the time to come and share their thoughts with us. I hope we will have the honor of inviting them again and keep Lahore alive, flourishing, and prosperous. Thank you.
We have a very, very short segment where we're just going to talk about some small future projects and not so small future projects, so that this conference is not it, this one weekend is not it with the cause that we're talking about. I'm just going to call my colleagues and oh, I'll just go ahead and do it. We have a project which is going to be a talk with a brilliant author here with us, Mejibeen Abidi. Habib. She is an author of a book which is about Pakistan water problem, and otherwise she's going to talk about. She'll tell you more in a minute, so that you guys can be made aware of what is coming up in the following months.
I was asked by the organizers to, as an effort to carry on the discussions we've had this morning and over the weekend, to inform you of some work that has been done that I think will be hosted as a discussion session by the organizers in the time to come. So it was suggested that I tell you about this book which has come out a month ago, and I'm its primary author. This is about a little bit beyond Lahore, and it's broadening our understanding of Pakistan's indigenous communities and its diversity. And it's a photographic book, but also a scholarly book that's quite easy to read. And it covers the coast, the desert and mountain areas of Pakistan. And is based on the understanding that whilst modern Pakistan knows a great deal about the Indus River as its bloodline, as its source of energy and food and water, we sometimes fail to understand that actually this part of the Indian subcontinent is like a very delicately woven carpet. An ecologist thinks about this part of Western India or the subcontinent like that. And the carpet is woven out of nature's magic, which one thread of it, which is water. And this book looks at water. It's called Water in the Wilderness. And it tries to bring to the fore the many times very ancient communities that we don't know about, whose lives are dependent on rivers, lakes, and water systems, who they are, what their identities are, and what are the sorts of challenges that modernity and hyper-development are bringing to these people and how they are thinking about it. So it's an invitation to understand more deeply the diversity of this country, and in that understanding be inspired by the tremendous beauty that this part of the world with its cultural and ecological fusions brings to the fore, and in that understanding to deepen our love for it. And when we begin to love something, then we want to protect it. So this is really meant for urban Pakistanis like us, who sometimes struggle with understanding the depths and width of this part of the subcontinent which we call Pakistan. And so this really goes beyond nationalism and national boundaries, and invites us to look deeper into nature's continuities, in time, in place, and in culture, the cultures that surround us. So I think that's about it. Library, and there are some cards, book cards I leave on the table which you can take away if you're interested, and you don't have a book.
Thank you so much. I'd like to also talk about, is this working? Hello.
उसकी बैटरी
Okay. Yeah. Hello. No. I'd like to also talk about, well, I wouldn't talk about it. I'd like to invite Kamil Saab to quickly talk about Mohalla Sazi, because that's really close to our hearts and about Lahore. So just maybe in a minute, if you could, it's a call for action, if you could tell how important this is.
Yes, Mohalla Sazi is, I think, a very exciting project that we got involved in. And with us, the Social Innovation Laboratory is very much a part of this project. Essentially, it is looking at the walled city as a living community, and to empower the people to sustain themselves, to maintain the historic fabric, and to be self-reliant as much as possible. And essentially the problem in the walled city is the result of that catastrophe that hit us with the arrival of the British Raj, and that was our encounter with modernity. The whole world of the walled city turned upside down, and today we are faced with a calamity where the population in the last 30 years has literally gone down to half what it was. And this is because of the change of land use. What was a mixed use center of commerce and residence has become increasingly more and more commercialized. So it's a huge, enormous challenge, but we're literally trying to get in at the street level and see if we can bring some sense and sanity back to our city, and that, remember, is the heart of Lahore. So I'm very glad to have the Social Innovation Lab participating in this, and we're really looking forward to the people taking the lead in what has to be the core, which is the livelihoods issue. So I hope you'll be taking that up very energetically. So anyone who wants to participate is most welcome.
Lastly, there's just announcement of a future event. We're really looking forward to it. Like, this was a social innovation mela. We have a social innovation hackathon coming for young and not so young, whoever wants to apply, for a weekend of innovating ideas to put words into practice, and the theme around that would be sources of identity formation. They could be anything. They could be technology, they could be education, history. Bring it on, let's work on it. So that's all we wanted to talk about. I will call upon our director now to just have a small director's note, and then
Thank you, Ranveer. Thank you very much to our very esteemed guests, our incredible panelists, to all the guests this afternoon, this evening. Thank you all so much for being here and for gracing us with your presence and for allowing yourselves to be pushed in all kinds of directions by the incredible words and thoughts and ideas that have been shared here today. I'd like to start first by giving a lot of thanks, because a mela like this and a movement like this doesn't happen with one person. It is precisely a movement. It is a movement that is brought together by numerous individuals. Sometimes their names you don't remember, sometimes their faces you don't ascribe to the names, but they're all there. And they're making this work possible every time you see something like this happen on a scale like this, at a place like this. So I'd like to start by thanking our panelists and our guests. Hey, Babar Ali Saab, thank you so much for being here today and for supporting us by giving the Naqsh School Award at the venue yesterday for our panel discussions. Brother Kazim Saab, thank you so much for constantly pushing me to think over and over again about stepping back, taking a break, and disconnecting to connect and become better and rise higher. Kanal Khan Mumtaz Saab, from the time that I met you, you have framed the way I look at the world in such a meaningful way by constantly pushing people like us to examine where we are in reference to the space, the place, the history, and the people around us. Because if we don't know where we are, how will we know where we're going? And so this brings us to a very key theme of the Mela. We kept over the last 3 days using the hashtag Lost Lahore. And that's something we brought up yesterday in the evening at the Naqsh school, that it's not Lahore that's lost. It's very clearly there. We went on 3 tours of the city yesterday. We were through Mian Mir Shrine, we were looking at Sikh Lahore, we were looking at the fort itself and the conservation behind it. We were eating biryani in the lawns of the Lahore fort. We were at the Naqsh Haveli. So clearly, Lahore is not lost. It's invisible. It's invisible to us because we are lost. And we have lost our sense of direction. And so I must thank people like Taimur Khan Mumtaz Saab, who kept constantly pushing Rahimi, myself, our whole team, to make sure we don't lose sight of that which we as a collective has chosen to put in the background and not focus as much anymore. Jawad Khwaja Saab and his wife, Ms. Hina Jawad, they have been an incredible force in being patrons of the art and in upholding and constantly reminding us of our values that we need to live and hold on to so truly. Dr. Basit Koshal, who's not here right now, but who once again, as an academic mentor, but also as a general mentor for me, has constantly pushed us to challenge ideas, to challenge boundaries, to constantly keep rethinking and reimagining the frames that we use to understand and assess our problems, and understand and assess the complexities around the work that we do. Majid Sheikh Saab, who was here yesterday, the day before yesterday as one of our panelists, and his wonderful words about how far do we go? We need to go all the way back. And then the reminder, the persistent reminder that he kept giving us during the first day about, let's do it. We need to do it now. And I think that's one of the core things that comes out of this Mela, is that now is the time. Right now, it is up and upon us to act, to think, to really widen our horizons and question, why are we here? What are we doing? And where are we going with all of this? Salman Rashid Saab, I don't know if he's here right now. He's one of the most incredible people I know. Finally had the pleasure of meeting him because of this Mela, but have been reading his works for the last 7 years and constantly inspired by the depth of research, by the depth of, this need to find the truth. As Kamil Saab put in the panel today, there is nothing but the truth. But our blinders, God forbid, my God, we just put them on and we refuse to see it. So kudos to men like him, men like Maulana Jahangir Mahmood, who actually are courageous enough to go deeper and deeper every time to find that truth. Here's to people like Yusuf Bashir Qureshi, who keep reminding us, what's yours will never escape you. जो आपके हक में, जो आपके रिस्क में, जो आपके लिए लिख दिया गया, वो कहीं जा ही नहीं सकता. So where is your hurry? What is this constant rut that we're in? If what is mine will never escape me, where am I going? And that brings us to people like Salim ul Haq, people who actually, regardless of roti, take a stand and say, no, I will not do something contrary to what I know is the truth. Here's to people like Beatriz Rodriguez, to Patricia Beloy, to our beautiful guests who have joined us from all over the world to speak their truth. In a resounding yes. Yes, we feel like you feel. Yes, we see what you see. Yes, I am because you are. Here's to Tina Sani and to Nadar Shahbaz Khan, to Irfan Qureshi, to Liaquat Ali, to Ustad Rafaqat, these practitioners of the most incredible jewels that we have. As our art forms, as our practices, as our culture, as our tradition, as our values, as our knowledge core. Here's to people like yourselves, madam, who are doing the exceptional job of teaching young minds, of framing young minds, of reminding them, don't let go of who you are. Because that's going to be the core in deciding who you become. Here's to our wonderful moderators, Mariam Mujahid, Sania Jabeen. You have done an incredible job at framing these conversations in such a beautiful way and making sure that these incredible panelists were able to share the jewels, the gems that they have accumulated over the years in a meaningful way. Thank you so much for doing that. I want to move on next to thank our team. But before that, also to thank the remainder of our panelists and international guests, Ross Villar-Rojo, Jennifer Catalano, Jorge Alberto, Ellie Yanakaris. All of you have added so much richness and diversity, bringing home stories from South Africa, from Latin America, from the US, from beyond. You have inspired us, and you have helped us grow. And together, I feel, just like this morning. So this morning, we were having this conversation over breakfast about gender. You know, how do we frame conversations about gender? What do we talk? What do we do? And there was this point at which I just stopped writing, and I said, you know what? We need to be hopeless idealists, because that's the only thing we can do. Unless we're hopeless idealists, we're not even going to come close to what is pragmatically possible. So I ask you, I beg you, I urge you today to take these lessons and be hopeless idealists, even if you have to go to jail, like Dr. Kazim said. And so, with that tradition, I want to thank deeply, from the core of my heart, the beautiful hopeless idealists that I work with every day. You make this work, this life so worthwhile. Thank you so much, Tajid Rees. Thank you, Michelle Al-Kumaj. Thank you, Arsalan Khalid, Rahibin Ahmed, Amnan Wad. Thank you, Ali Naqi. I don't know if he's here. Thank you, Nabil Siraj, Zia Hussain Syed, Sidra Zia Bhatt. Thank you, the incredible team of people working at the Social Innovation Lab. You are, I did talk to Arsalan. I did say your name, right? I did.
Fariha, you forgot Fariha.
Fariha. So Fariha is a new addition to our team, and she's been phenomenal. She's been going left, right, center, making calls to most of you, bugging you constantly. Don't forget your menu, don't forget your time. And she's done this phenomenal job at putting all of this together. I want to also thank our partners. So Lahore Shanasi Foundation, thank you so much for their help with the tours yesterday. Tour Lahore, you guys are crazy, amazing, and I love you. Harsaki is going to perform later, but I also want to thank Chai Chok, Ravish, and the other social enterprises that were involved in bringing this meal up together. You guys did a terrific job, and you are what makes us breathe. I also want to thank our sponsors and partners. One of our biggest supporters in all of this is the Mushtaq Rahmani School of Humanities and Social Sciences. One person who's not here today but is always in my heart is Dr. Anjum Altaf, who was a huge supporter of this work, and may God bless him. The initial push that we received from him, we still go on to this day. I want to thank, outside Lums, I want to thank our sponsors today and our partners today. Uber Pakistan has been really gracious in helping us with our transport. Vantage Printers have been phenomenal in giving you these beautiful handbooks that we have today. And I want to thank FM 91 for their coverage, and a lot of other media partners that have helped so much in putting all of this together. Now the thanks are over, I can move to the meaty part. Slightly short, I'll keep it short, I promise. I think something that Ms. Nadra today talked about is just so important, and it was a question, and it really made me think over and over. I mean, for the last hour and a half, it's just been in the back of my mind and circling. And I said, when are we going to stop otherizing our own selves? Just think about it, otherizing our own selves. We have divorced ourselves from our true selves. And that's been the constant theme of the Mela. That's been the constant recognition, the constant realization walking through the streets of the old city. This man stops and says, ये असली लाहौर तो ये है. And he's laughing and he's like, haha, you know nothing. And he's right. असली लाहौर तो ये है. So where are we? How long will we keep otherizing ourselves? And so it brings me again to something Rada Saab said, and that's stepping away, the need to step away and take a fresh look. To really step back and re-examine in light of history, art, culture, tradition, education, all the themes that this Mela went through, all the speakers, the panels, the events that you had to sit through. Really come back, step back with that knowledge, step back with what you learned, and take a fresh look. Where are we? What are we choosing? And how long will we keep divorcing ourselves from ourselves? How long will the true Lahore remain ojal? And how long can we walk on lost? I'll leave you with that today. Please, I urge you to follow through with our call for actions, to really go deep inside, delve deep inside, detach yourself for a second, step back for a second, and ask yourselves, is it really Lahore that's lost or is it me? And what will I do to find myself today? Thank you.